Joining me now is a longtime leader of the Democratic Party, one of those big names, South Carolina Democratic Congressman Jim Clyburn. And Congressman, I want to start on just this week that Vice President Harris has had. You obviously already endorsed her, but even before the president withdrew, you said that if it were to happen, the party should not try to work against her. Are you surprised at all that no one in the party has worked against her and that the Democratic Party has coalesced so quickly around her?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Just slightly surprised, but I think that most of the delegates are pretty much in touch with the history of our party. Most of these people have been around the Democratic Party for a long time. They know what happens if you have a wide open convention, as we have had before, what happened in 1968, 1972, 1980. All of those wide open conventions resulted in dramatic losses. Richard Nixon, we got out of 68 and 72, carried on in one state after 1972. So we needed to be able to come together quickly, coalesce behind a nominee, and I think that's what we're going to do with the Vice President. She's been in the Vice President office now for 3 years, 3.5 years. And before that, she was in the Senate. Before that, she was Attorney General of California. Before that, a prosecuting DA. She has a tremendous resume, one that lends itself well to being able to manage the business of this country famously. And she will do that because I think this country is going to elect her.
Do the last 3 years of that resume, her time as vice president, work for her or against her? I know you're very proud of the Biden administration record, but Republicans are absolutely going to try to hang elements of it around her neck going forward.
Well, I hope they will, because I think the American people are going to look at the record of the Biden-Harris administration and compare that to the proposals coming forth from the other side in their Project 2025. I've been saying to people all over, whatever your interest is, Social Security, Medicare, education, civic service, whatever it is, look up Project 2025 and then go to that section of those 900 pages and see what they are proposing for your interest. What do you mean? Doing away with the Department or Civil Service employment in this country, turning that over to one person so you do their bidding rather than the bidding of the American people, sounds a little bit like Woodrow Wilson to me. And that is not what we want to have in our government.
Congressman, I'm curious what you make of the Harris campaign and this new video that they debuted. You hear a little bit of the change in tone, the nuance of language here. The vice president talks about freedom, defending personal freedom. It's a bit of a shift from the way the president talked about defending democracy. Is that the kind of change that matters? Do you think Americans will be more likely to be dialed in on concerns over their individual freedoms as opposed to the more abstract concept of defending democracy?
Well, that takes us back to the kind of basic language that we started using a long, long time ago. The freedom to vote, the freedom to choose, the freedom to go about your business. This is what it's all about. People understand that word freedom. They may have trouble trying to define what democracy really means. They understand individual freedoms, and that is a good way to relate to people.
You told USA Today earlier this week, quote, "We thought we were ready for that," meaning a woman to be president in 2016, and we weren't ready for that. I wonder, as we sit here in 2024, is the country ready now?
I certainly hope so. As a father of 3 daughters, I work every day trying to make sure I make this a better place for them to grow up in. Now, those daughters of mine are already grown. I do have a couple of grandchildren and a great-grand. And I want, I got 2 granddaughters and 1 great-granddaughter. I want them to have a country to grow up in much, much different from the one I grew up in.
I want to ask you, and someone with two daughters myself, believe me, I'm dialed into this issue too. I want to ask you about the ongoing Veep stakes here. The Harris campaign says they're actively vetting some folks. You've name-checked some of the governors here: Shapiro, Cupper, which I'm getting used to saying correctly, Waltz, as well as Secretary Buttigieg. That's about half the list that we have here right now. So I wonder what you make of that list and who you think complements her the best.
Well, you know, if you look at, you just mentioned some polling data as it relates to the Midwest. I think Waltz is great for that. If you look at it universally, you look at foreign service, Buttigieg is great for that. The last time I checked, I think he speaks 7 or 8 different languages. He is a tremendous cabinet secretary. He's developed relationships with governors on both sides of the aisle all over the country. He will do great there. Josh Shapiro, I like very much, know him very well. I know Waltz brings a lot to the table. Keller from the military side. But Waltz was the highest ranking, what they call it, National Guard's non-commissioned officer in the country. He has a tremendous background when it comes to the military. He is from what we call the Midwest. He will do what? She's got a great lineup from which to choose.
You're putting more names on the list, not taking them off here, Congressman. We're working backwards here. So let me ask you the question this way. What do you think should be the most important factor in how she makes this decision?
Chemistry.
Personal chemistry.
Absolutely. Who is he comfortable alongside of? Who, the vibes that come from that is very, very important. We already see the other side having some problems with chemistry. There is bad chemistry between Trump and Vance, and it's going to get worse.
As you're looking at this race and as you're peering across the border into North Carolina, do you think having Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket changes the map at all? We talked about the Midwest polling. You're a Southerner. Does she play better in North Carolina and in Georgia than perhaps President Biden did?
In both those states, I think so. Simply because she energizes the young voters much more than Biden did. He was winning them by single digits. She is now seems to be winning them by double digits. It's always best to lead by double digits than by digits.
That's the kind of political wisdom you only get from decades in Congress. Congressman Jim Clyburn, thank you so much for joining us on a Friday afternoon.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.